Thank you very much, Chair. And I appreciate the motion that my colleague, Mr. Caputo, has moved. And let me share, if I could, just for a brief moment, some reflections that are not my own, but rather I would share some reflections that I heard over the course of the constituency week from some law enforcement professionals in my constituency. And to make sure that I protect them, I won't get too specific as to where they're from and which police force they're a part of, but suffice to say they police a large rural area, part of the region that I have the honor of representing. And Chair, the reason why it's so relevant is because it relates to the catch and release policies that that see a very small number of offenders, in many cases dangerous, violent offenders, being arrested time and time and time again for the same crimes. You have small communities, and as an example, in the area that I represent, of several hundred people that are terrorized by a small group of people. Everybody knows who is perpetrating these crimes. The police know that that is in fact the case, and it is so frustrating, in fact demoralizing, to our hardworking men and women that wear police uniforms of various departments. I know this motion specifically references some of the specifics around the Victoria Police Department, and that's very, very valid, but it's an amplification of this message that we hear from so many law enforcement professionals. These are individuals that put their lives on the line every day to keep our communities safe. Yet they feel like they are the forces pushing back against them being able to do their jobs are catch and release policies like those that we see from Bill C-75. So, Mr. Chair, whether it's small towns across rural Alberta, whether it be in the north, whether it be in the Maritimes, whether it be in our big cities where we see cars sometimes the same day or just within a couple of days being shipped to overseas, this is a huge concern that I would suggest requires the continued urgency of this committee, and especially as we are hearing from those who are on the front lines, and I cannot emphasize that enough, Mr. Chair, those who are on the front lines that are facing the direct consequences of this. I could not imagine a more difficult career in today's world than being a law enforcement professional, being a police officer, with all the pressures, and then to have policies of their government working against their ability to do their job and protect the communities in which they live and work and care so deeply about. So, Mr. Chair, there is much more that I could talk about on this subject, but I would simply say this to my colleagues from other parties. Let's treat this with the urgency that Canadians are demanding that this committee treat it with. Let's pass this motion. It's a small step to acknowledge some of the urgency and how we can address auto theft and specifically the issues surrounding those repeat violent offenders that are in some cases within hours of being arrested, the hundreds of hours of police work that goes into those arrests, and yet being turned out within hours, and in many cases are back out on the streets committing those same crimes, endangering our communities, traumatizing individuals, and quite frankly, Mr. Chair, Canadians deserve better than what they're getting. So I hope that this committee seizes this opportunity to take a serious look at this issue with some of the information that is being brought forward by, in this case, the Victoria Police Department, to amplify that message that we are hearing from so many across our country. Thank you, Chair.